today I'm gonna be watching a scary video, and y'all are gonna be watching it with me. And I'm kind of scared right now, because it's freaking night. Well, y'all can't really see it. As y'all can see, it's freaking dark out there. So, yeah. It's like 20, no, not 21. Wait, what? I don't know what I'm saying. Something o'clock, I don't know. Because mine doesn't really go by time. It goes like 21:18. 21:18. What's 21:18? If you know what 21:18 is, tell me in the comments. But yeah. So, I'm freaking scared right now, y'all. Please help me. Thank you. Okay, I'm sorry, y'all. And his name is Corey Kitchen. If you already don't know who Corey Kitchen, he's a cool YouTuber. Subscribe to him. And also on GTV. That's all I have to say. I'm back. I have to put it in, and I don't really want to choose. Okay, I'm sorry, y'all. To do this to y'all, that's the video. If you can't see the TV, say that in the comments.
Since my very youngest days, I was treated as a golden child. My mother gave buttloads of affection to me and bragged to her friends how great of a son I was. I fear my younger brother missed out because she had already spent all of the luxuries on me, so to speak. I joke about this, but I'm somewhat serious at the same time. His upbringing lacked much of the praise and attention I was given. When I began playing in organized
Why are you petting him like that, y'all? Girl.
Soccer came first. It all came so naturally.
Bob, where's your uniform on? You just got a freaking football head on. Football thingy. I don't know what to say, y'all, but like,
covered my walls. My large, strong hands allow me to grip.
Like and subscribe to this video because I'm just watching a scary video and I'm freaking scared to death right now.
I did so well that by high school, I was playing on par with most seniors.
No, you're just fat. I totally didn't say anything about you if you're in here because I'm freaking scared right now. I don't want any ghosts in here. I actually think there's a ghost in my house because. Actually, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm stop talking. I'll tell y'all the story almost at the end of the video.
Luckily for me, I had always been good at most subjects, except for perhaps math, in which I scored low at B's. I had decided by my second year which college I would attend.
So yeah. How do I turn this? Oh, wait. Do this, bro. I don't feel like standing up for y'all. I'm joking. I would stand up for anybody. Any of my subscribers.
Nothing's gonna get in my way. I tell you all this in order to show just how far I was soon to fall. Exactly.
You know how the other YouTubers, they just tell you the time, they don't show you outside. It could be 3 in the morning. Yeah, I mean 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Like, it could be lying, y'all. My hair's not finished yet.
I still remember it was yesterday. A few of my classmates were grumbling about something and it caught my attention. I happened to look up just as she was passing near me, and her beauty was breathtaking. I can honestly say with confidence, you've never seen her equal in Hollywood. The rich silkiness of her auburn hair, to the sensual fullness of her lips and her porcelain skin.
Let me turn it up for y'all just in case.
Had a flaw. I gave her my heart in that moment, and I knew nothing would equal her.
Dang!
She took her seat at the back of the class. None of the shyness that usually existed in the newly arrived students showed in her actions. The room was hers completely now, and she knew it. My focus was on her for the remainder of the period. She had to have known. My gaze would have burned right through her had my eyes been lasers. This day marked the beginning of a long downhill slide, and I would give anything to experience every second of that time again. Concentrating on anything else was impossible.
Oh, his hair.
Class after class, only Rosalind existed.
Is it kind of a little
was
too
much the
loud?
same.
That's
I wasn't on
perfect.
a football field.
I want to
I
freaking
was
sit
still in my
down,
class,
but
soaking
don't
in
let
every
me
inch,
out.
every curve of her body.
And then after
From then
this,
on, my only thoughts were about her. I used my charm to get her address from an office worker. That Friday evening, as I led the team to another victory, my only desire was for the game to end. Afterwards, I sat outside her house dreaming about her and I, walking hand in hand through the halls as everyone watched jealously. I resolved in that moment that I would own her body and soul of my life. My first action upon arriving at school that following Monday was to locate Rosalind and bare my heart to her. I did just that, but her reaction wasn't what I'd envisioned. I spoke from my heart. Every word was true, but rather than collapse into my arms as I'd seen on TV so many times, she replied with 4 short words. I don't think so. I will admit to being disappointed, but her response left me with a ray of hope. She hadn't been cruel or mocking after all. Perhaps she had been playing hard to get. I knew I had to pursue her as a hunter pursues his prey. Maybe I would even be...
I had to go get a chair, because freaking...
Well, after all, that's the way it works in the great Hollywood films and novels. She would realize she belonged with me. I just needed to help her realize it. I searched my soul, day and night, for a way to make this happen. Suddenly it hit from out of the blue. If I gave up football, she would have to see how dedicated I was to her. That day I informed the coach of my decision. It went about as well as you would think. He was angry and yelled for almost an hour, but at the end of our meeting, he wished me well. I was elated. I had to tell Rosalind that very second. She didn't answer my text right away, but when she did, her only answer was, "Why?" The queasiness churned up in my stomach. Even after all I'd done to let her know I loved her, putting it into words still made me very nervous. "I did it for you," I said. My hands shook as they moved to push send. It was now or never. She would be left with no doubt as to how I felt about her. After sending it, the time seemed to drag on forever. The hours passed with no word from her, and I couldn't take it any longer. I sped over to her house and waited outside her window. I watched as she changed for bed. Every curve, every line of her body remains with me to this day. I sent a new text to let her know that I was waiting. She appeared at her window within seconds. Seeing her in the nightgown made my heart race, and there was only one reason she would let me see her this way. My mouth was dry with anticipation. I broke into a sweat. I expected to be met with soft words, but instead she began yelling, almost screaming. Her words didn't make sense. I was confused by her behavior. It only got worse when her father came outside. I tried to explain my love for his beautiful daughter, but he was deaf to my words. Rosalind began to curse me from her window, terrible things I don't dare repeat here. I never dreamed this could have happened. With every word, her curses knocked me lower and lower. It was a pain I'd not wish on anyone. I was so distraught I didn't hear the word police until it was almost too late. I fled just as I noticed flashing lights up the street. I lay down in my car as they passed and sped away as they pulled up to Rosalind's house. My sobs grew and grew until I was consumed by my grief. I lay curled up upon my bed, wailing uncontrollably. However, as my tears began to subside, another fire kindled inside. My anger roared by the second, until it consumed any sadness I once had. And by dawn, I had transformed into some sort of beast. A monster I never knew existed in me, taking control of my body. I began to rage. I thought, no one says those things to someone who loves them. They know the power they have over them. The idea of punishment fleeted in and out of my brain, briefly at first, then more and more until it set root and fostered a plan for retribution. I see now just how far I had gone. My love, if that's what you can call it, had transformed from obsession into hate. The quickness in which this occurred still terrifies me. That day and that time.
This is my little brother. Where'd you go? There he is. Okay,
She
there.
had to feel my pain. There was no other way she could learn what she had done. I entered the school that morning with a single, focused purpose. My anger had clouded my mind from considering the consequences of what I was about to do.
What's he about
I
to
could see the terror
do?
in her eyes as I drew closer, and I can remember feeling satisfied by this.
What are you doing there? What are you doing?
I just grabbed her by the throat, both hands gripping as tightly as possible, and I knew it wouldn't take long. My grip was strong and my hands were large. I was oblivious to the grabbing and pulling of others around me.
What?
Her face took on a dark red, then almost purple hue, and I knew it wouldn't be long now. I stared into her beautiful green eyes that I had dreamt of for countless hours and was awed by them, even as they filled with the streaking of blood. My adoration angered me even more. The next thing I remember was lying on the school floor being held down. The din of their yells seemed muffled. I was miles away, lost in the confusing pattern of the ceiling tiles above me. I'm not sure how long it was before I was told Rosalind had survived. It appeared I had been stopped before I was able to achieve my goal. This news didn't anger me, nor was I relieved. I had become numb. It's taken me many months to reclaim the identity I once was. I was terrified to feel anything. I'd become nothing more than a frightened child. I've been fortunate enough to be sent to an institution that focuses on therapeutic rehabilitation. I'm by no means fully healed, for the lack of a better word. There still are moments where I find myself giving over to my dark side. I don't necessarily blame the entertainment industry for the way they portray relationships or the pursuit of love in a wider context. I'm responsible for the way I handle the situation. Something inside of me is broken. However, in the same breath, I do question what impression they intend on presenting. A young, naive, and romantic man such as myself is inundated with talk of the so-called game and the premise of sacrificing for love, among other trite concepts.
They don't have the Swiffles and the Swiffles a little bit, yeah.
Father figure, a young male often uses images from the popular entertainment around him. It is a discussion that should be had, considering more boys are growing up without a positive male role model in their lives. Please pardon me for going off onto my own path. I still require a lot of work. The purpose of writing this was to recount the events
But I want to
that led
see
me
how
to my
long
current
this.
position. My counselor and I agreed that it would be a good idea to put my story and my feelings at the time on paper. It could serve as a motivating factor for myself and others to see how far I've come in my therapy. Now that I have, it is certainly encouraging to see the progress I've made. At the same time, it's shed light upon the darker side of my personality, and that has been a horrifying vision. Despite this, I'm confident I'm on the path to regaining my true self, and perhaps one day you'll recognize the brother you grew up with. I've just about written down everything I can recall from that time, and lights out is quickly approaching. I'll make a copy of this for my counselor, minus a little epilogue to you. Of course, I'll be sending you this version for yourself. Feel free to share it with your mom or anybody else in the family that may be curious. I've written Mom a short note just about regular stuff and sent it last week, so she should receive that soon. If you have the time, I'd like you to do something like we discussed and seek out the proper place on the internet to share this. All I ask is that you leave out my name, but I probably don't have to tell you that. I'm sure you don't normally tell people your older brother is psycho. I'd like young people to be able to read an authentic account of what goes on in the mind of someone like me without all the sensationalistic fluff. I don't seek notoriety or fame for what I've done. It is an inexcusable act against one I profess to love. My hope is that it can serve as a template for the young, a diagnostic instrument to help them recognize the same patterns in their friends or
Why would you choke her if you love
and stop
her?
them before they get out of
Like, I
control.
get it, your anger took over, but
I'd like to think if more
doesn't mean
people
you
had access to this type of information, things like stalking and the things that go with it may be able to be stopped completely, or at the least greatly reduced. I'll continue to do all I can to stem the tide from here. Perhaps, if enough on the outside can see.
Business wins used to take
Ads, are you right?
Now they're zooming.
Am I right, man?
So I can see this. We can create a better world. For everyone. From my experience, most everybody had that creepy